Wellness Wednesdays on The Takeover, brought to you by station sponsor Kelli Naturopath. Book your free intro call today at kellik.com.au.
Yes, she joins us on Zoom right now. Kelli Naturopath, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, going well.
Going well.
The weather's been...
Yeah, it's been nice.
It's been nice, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. When it comes to the end of springtime and slowly getting into summer, it's got to start to heat up and get that, have that true Aussie Christmas when we get to it. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But we are so keen to be having a chat with you tonight. And tonight we are talking all about supplements, which is so interesting. So can you start us off, Kelli, by just defining, how do we actually define supplements? What are they?
Yeah, okay. So technically a supplement is a product that you ingest. Usually we're talking about nutrients that are designed to support the body in some way, either supplement a nutrient in the diet or to offer some sort of physiological response. So usually this will be a particular nutrient, or it might be a particular food compound that has therapeutic value, or maybe a herbal medicine that has shown to have a certain action in the body.
Okay, so is there any science behind them then?
Yeah, so because the supplement industry has really, it's really been booming lately. So there's a lot of different types of supplements out on the market.
Yeah.
So some of those supplements may have been studied in trials and some won't have been.
Okay.
But the ingredients themselves within the products, depending on what it is, but a lot of nutrients and a lot of herbal medicines do have quite a bit of scientific evidence behind them now, either on the mechanism, so how they might work in the body, what their action is, or perhaps they've been studied in a particular medical condition or symptom that gives it a lot of credibility. So there's definitely a growing body of evidence for using supplements in certain circumstances. And depending on the ingredients, some of those herbal medicines or nutrients have a vast amount of evidence behind them, and others have a much smaller amount or mainly have more traditional evidence. So it's really about understanding the different ingredients and where they might be useful and how much benefit they're likely to have for someone.
Yeah, I've always wondered about supplements, and as we go a bit more later on after the break, we'll talk a bit more about when they're most useful and what we should be mindful of when considering using supplements.
We've been talking about supplements, and we want to know more about when are they most useful?
Yes. So supplements can be very useful if we might not be getting enough nutrients in our diet, so nutritional supplements specifically. So if we're struggling to meet our requirements through the foods that we're eating, and that might be because of a variety of different reasons, that's when nutrient supplements become really helpful. Or if we have an overt deficiency, then obviously they're going to become really important there. They can also be really useful if you have certain medical conditions or symptoms that might benefit, because, certain herbal medicines or nutrients might have a therapeutic property that will help to bring balance or change the physiology in some way to help reduce symptoms or to help with symptom management. And probably the third area where they might be useful for someone is in prevention of illness. So, around winter with colds and flus, we know that there are certain herbal medicines that might help with, warding off colds and flus and that kind of thing. But it really does come down to the individual and what that individual needs as to how beneficial or how useful a supplement is going to be in that circumstance, because everyone's different and unique. Our diet's different, our genetics different, our what if we've got different medical conditions or health status, our age, all of those things come into play here in terms of how useful it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So as you mentioned, there are a variety of reasons as to why someone might use supplements. But so when considering using supplements, then are there certain things that we should be mindful of?
Yeah, so with supplements, there's so much out there on the market. It can be so overwhelming if you've perhaps heard, maybe I should go and get some vitamin C or some fish oil or something.
Yeah.
You'll be completely overwhelmed by all the choices. So, one of the things that's really important is to try and find a product that is of really high quality. So it can be difficult for a layperson to determine what's quality and what's not. This is where getting a practitioner or some expert advice can be really useful to know how, to be able to distinguish one from the other. But a quality product should have low excipients, so that means not too many extra ingredients. It should be manufactured in a way that makes sure it's, using the best form and that your body's going to absorb it. And it should be formulated with a good dosage that's based on research, hopefully. So the dosage and the form that the nutrient or the herbal medicine comes in becomes really important as well, depending on what kind of response you're wanting to get from it. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of different factors that to come into play. And so this is why it is advised that you speak with a nutritionist or a naturopath or someone who's, across some of this, so that you make sure you're not only getting something that's safe, because even though they are typically natural medicines and they do tend to have a higher safety profile than a lot of pharmaceuticals, they're still medicines and they still are changing our physiology. So you can get side effects and you can get interactions. So it is important to make sure it's safe and also to make sure that if you're buying a supplement, you're actually getting the most bang for your buck. So you're actually getting something that's going to give you the most benefit and be the most effective and the most appropriate for what you need.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes those more expensive brands can be ultimately the better option there. So, yeah, there you go. Well, Kelli, thank you so much.
Sometimes that's the case.
Sometimes, that's right. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
But, Kelli, thank you so much for joining us again on air for another edition of Wellness Wednesday. And if you have a question for Kelli regarding supplements or anything else regarding, things to ask that you might want to ask a naturopath, then you can head on over to kellik.com.au. That's Kelli with an I, .k.com.au. So make sure you head on over there for any more information. But Kelli, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me again.
Wellness Wednesdays on The Takeover, brought to you by station sponsor Kelli K Naturopath. Book your free intro call today at kellik.com.au.